I'm Wendy Garner for Children's of Alabama. Today we're talking about bullying. It's a difficult topic, but joining us right now is Dr. Dan Marullo, who is a child psychologist here at Children's. It's so good to see you.
Well, thank you.
How do we identify when something is bullying or if it's just regular conflict that children and adults deal with?
That's a great question. Children are no different than others, so they're going to get into squabbles and that sort of thing. We have to understand the different types of bullying, for one, to answer that question. Certainly the physical aggression that we think of as bullying, hitting, kicking, and that sort of thing. Cyberbullying is becoming much more prevalent and in the news these days. But there's also social bullying. That's really isolating children, not letting them into your group or excluding kids from certain activities. There's verbal bullying, which is probably the most common type, emotional bullying, calling names, teasing, that sort of thing. So when does it get to be a problem? Anytime you see a systematic type of behavior, then you start thinking of it as being a problem. And certainly if you're noticing that this is something that is an ongoing issue, and certainly if you see a child that's starting to struggle emotionally, physically.
And some of those signs of struggling and being affected would be, I imagine, lack of sleep, right?
Absolutely. Lack of poor sleep, change in sleep habits, sometimes sleeping too much. We don't always think about that. Change in appetite.
Change in behavior.
Change in behavior. Your normal happy-go-lucky child is no longer, is more sad, that kind of thing. Withdrawing from activities that they enjoy. For example, a child who loves going to school, now they don't want to go to school.
Is it best for a parent to, I guess, give that child tools to know how to deal with a bullying situation?
I think it's multifaceted. Certainly you want to teach your children how to cope and deal with conflict, for one. And they learn that from us. How do we cope and deal with conflict? But also you want to protect your child. There are times when I think parents need to step in.
Sure.
Certainly if there's any, again, if there's some sort of a systematic bullying going on, certainly if there's physical bullying, but we also have to keep in mind that sometimes the most painful bullying is emotional, the teasing, the exclusion, that sort of thing. At those times, again, parents may need to take some steps, be that talking to school officials and making sure that they're aware, but also certainly teaching their children how to cope and deal with conflict. Another area to think about, or a way of helping our children, is also to make sure that they're in environments that they can feel good about. So
build their self-esteem.
Build their self-esteem in a real way,
right.
Real accomplishment. So being engaged in things that are meaningful to that child or that family, be it church or sports or the arts, whatever. So those are all things that we help teach children how to cope and deal with adversity, and certainly bullying can be one of those things.
And I'm sure if a parent is really concerned for their child, there's lots of great resources available as well.
Certainly your pediatrician is the primary person to go to.
Okay.
Anytime you have any kind of concern, but there's always your good old-fashioned local psychologist.
Yeah.
We're here to help with those circumstances as well.
Absolutely. Well, some really good tips. Thank you so much, Dr. Marullo, for sharing with us. And if you would like to learn more about bullying or other health and safety topics, just go to our website, childrensal.org.